Coming to you not live from the Garage of Solitude, I'm Mario Francisco Robles,
I'm Brett Miro, human cyborg relations.
and this is the Fanboy Podcast. Welcome to episode 144, everybody. Yes, we are a few days late, but we're making it up to you. This week, we're going to have not one, but two episodes of the show to share with you. And, before I get into how I've been, Brett, how the hell have you been since we last spoke?
I've been okay,
Yeah.
just getting through the beginning of April. Really slow sales month. March was a very light sales month.
Yeah,
This month
people
starting
aren't
out real
buying
slow.
booze as
Yeah,
much as they
people are.
should be.
I think that the price at the pump is, no one has extra money for booze. I don't know what it is.
Yikes! Yeah, well, that is a pretty good point.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, on my end, well, there's the whole reason we're delayed, which is
Yeah,
I on Thursday tested positive for COVID-19. The plague finally hit me after 2 years of successful avoiding this damn thing. It finally got me. Thankfully, it ended up just being no more than like a cold. It was pretty minor,
yeah. It
and
comes
I
for
was
us all.
fine. Yeah, yeah,
I had it
but
in
that's
January.
it. Oh, you see, you got it. You got it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So now I got to tell you, I'm not too impressed with it. After all this hype, I kind of, it wasn't a big deal.
yeah.
So anyway, honestly, the biggest thing I got out of COVID was getting to stay home alone because my wife took the kids out to the in-laws for a few days so that I wouldn't get anybody else sick. Because by the way, my wife is due to give birth in a week. So the timing of all this is just
Not
crazy.
good.
Me getting COVID now and she's about to pop, and but it all worked out. She went to my in-laws with the kids. I had the house to myself all weekend, and I got to watch all kinds of goodness that I've been putting off forever. Like I watched all 9 episodes of Marvel's What If series, which
Nice,
I yeah,
nice.
I it's amazing. Uh, I also watched all 7 episodes of the Loki series there on Disney Plus.
Finally, that's a good one.
Finally,
Yeah.
and even the Lego Batman movie. I believe it or not, the Lego Batman movie was one of those that I just never got around to doing, and I finally treated myself to that. So I guess COVID was a blessing in disguise where I got to just veg at the house and watch epic stuff and play video games and sleep all day and not have to worry about anything. I've been watching a lot of stuff. What have you been watching, Brett?
Yeah, so not too. I mean, we'll talk a little bit later about stuff in the superhero realm, but I
Yeah.
actually just finished up this really great high concept sci-fi series. I may have mentioned it before. It's called Severance.
Oh,
It's on Apple
yes.
TV Plus. Ben Stiller produced and directed, I think, like the first couple episodes, and I think like the
Yeah.
final couple. That just wrapped up. Awesome show.
And it's
Can't
got that
recommend it
guy
enough.
from Parks and Rec in it, right? What's
Adam
his
Scott,
name?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, amazing cast. It's Adam Scott, John Turturro, Christopher Walken is in it.
What? I didn't hear about
Patricia
that.
Arquette. Yeah.
Wow.
And then there's some other. There's another guy. He's been in like everything. He's like this like little heavy set dude with glasses. He's a little balding. He's in like every show. I don't know his name.
Okay.
I could look it up,
That
but
guy.
whatever. That guy. You if you see him, you're like, oh, I've seen him a
Yeah.
million times. He's,
Okay.
he's
All
usually like a
right.
weird, quirky character, and he's kind of weird in this too, but a
Yeah.
much bigger role than he's like ever had before.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the show's tremendous. I'm like not gonna say anything honestly because it is one of those shows that I think also upon like rewatches, there's just so many little details they pepper throughout. But it's
Yeah.
yeah, I mean
It's
it's based
interesting
upon
seeing
yeah,
Ben Stiller head into that sort of territory. It's like a
yeah,
thriller, you said?
yeah,
Like
it's
sci-fi?
it's like high concept sci-fi. So yeah, I would give it like a thriller mystery kind of
Huh.
vibe, dark comedy maybe at
Yeah.
points. But yeah, no, it's really weird and yeah, as I always say, give me all the weird, the weird
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's
Uh,
how I
yeah,
felt watching What If. I wasn't really sure what to expect. And it's funny. I guess I'm still kind of a snob when it comes to animated stuff. To this day,
sure.
there's a part of me that's like animated, it's for kids, you know? And for better or worse, that was part of my barrier into giving What If a shot. But it's funny how like little it takes for me to think, oh, okay, this is cool. I saw that it was rated TV 14, and just knowing that for
Right.
whatever reason, made me feel like, oh, okay, so I'm not just watching Saturday morning kid
Yeah.
cartoons here. So that helped me get over that little hump. But other than that, I wasn't sure what to expect. I don't tend to dig on a lot of animated stuff in general, but I was totally blown away. I mean, the production value, having most of the real voices, having all this great music,
Yeah.
this amazing elevated concept of watching these bizarro sort of elseworld tales. I call them elseworld tales as a DC fan, but for them it's just that same idea of like, what if, and you do this one unique twist on on a story that we're all very familiar with, and it takes it in a whole different direction. And it was it was just a trip. It was such a trip. I
Yeah.
love the Watcher. I love hearing Jeffrey Wright as the Watcher. I
Yeah, I
love
was
that
just
we
gonna
get
say, I'm like,
him.
how great is the Watcher? And
Yeah,
like Jeffrey
like,
Wright is him.
and he's already exemplifying the multiverse, right? He's Commissioner Gordon in the Batman, and he's the Watcher in Marvel. But yeah, I mean, I'm like, there's lots of different ways I can go on Marvel What If, but the Doctor Strange episode, I have a feeling, is going to factor in very big into this Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of
Well,
Madness that's
the
coming,
trailer kind of like already
right?
alluded to. There is, if I'm not mistaken, in the trailer. So there's not a spoiler. It's in the
Yeah,
trailer. Their evil Doctor Strange does show up in the
yeah,
trailer
the
for Multiverse of
Strange
Madness.
Supreme, right?
Yeah, so 100%
Yeah.
that's going to factor in. And yeah, I mean, I also, there's like rumors about uh I've only seen actually like the first 2 episodes of What If, so
Oh,
I'm actually,
okay.
or maybe I guess three. It wasn't Doctor Strange the third one, so I might have seen like the first three.
It was the fourth. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm somewhere in there. I didn't see the
Yeah.
whole thing, but I heard there's some rumors that Haley Atwell's Captain Britain. Is she
Really?
called Captain Britain in that? Yeah, they do call her that,
I'm
right?
not sure what
Uh,
they called her. I think they were just calling
yeah,
her like Agent Carter, but she was
yeah,
awesome.
but her Captain America,
Yeah.
supposedly there's been rumors about that may show
Hmm.
up in a Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. So we'll see. But yeah, apparently and I think there's also been shot of zombie Doctor Strange. So
Yeah.
possibly the Marvel zombies may also factor in. So yeah,
Hang
well, Doctor
on.
Strange is certainly
Yeah.
becoming a must see.
I'm making a connection in real time, Brett.
The synapses
A
are firing.
year ago. Yeah, something I just made a connection.
Mhm.
Last year on this here show,
Yes.
I unveiled a small casting scoop. And I pointed out that it's not a spoiler because I have no idea how they're being used or what it's not a plot thing. But
Hmm.
on the official cast list for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness was the actress who plays Agent Carter. And
Haley
it didn't,
Atwell. Yeah.
yeah, Haley Atwell. And it didn't at the time, since I hadn't seen Marvel's What If and I didn't know anything about that stuff. It's just, I didn't know what to make of it. And I announced it on this show, just like, hey, interesting. Looks like they've got some sort of plan for Agent Carter. But now that I've seen
Ah,
that Marvel's What If, I'm like, oh, I feel like that might be
what a scoop.
confirmation. Yeah, I mean, an even bigger scoop than I realize now.
Right.
So that's going to be interesting
So
to
basically,
find out.
100% that's happening.
Yeah. Oops.
Like, done deal.
Now I kind of did spoil something, didn't I?
Yeah.
But yeah. See, you got to finish all 9, dude. You got to
I know.
finish
I
all
have to go
9.
back. It's funny
It,
because like you were the one that's so behind on all the Marvel shows. I've literally watched every other one.
yeah,
I'm like
yeah,
caught up on everything except for that one,
yeah.
and
Well,
that's the one that seems to have the most impact on things.
yeah. Well, it's funny because now after doing What If and after doing Loki, which I think is also great, although it made me never want to hear the acronym TVA again. The amount of times that they said the time, whatever
Variance
agent,
authority.
the TVA, we got to stop the TVA. Have you heard about the TVA? The TVA did this, the TVA. How do we? I'm like, if we could do a TVA drinking game on Loki
Yeah,
and we'd be obliterated.
but
But,
Owen Wilson.
this is how Owen Wilson talks. But
Yeah,
yes, Owen Wilson was there and he was great. He was at the top of his game in a character that I wasn't sure what to make of him at first, but I ended up really liking his character.
yeah, it was good.
And
He had a good arc. Yeah,
and also, like, I guess this is where it helps to like go into these things not knowing too much. I had thought that it was just going to be a limited series. I didn't realize that Loki will return in season 2. Like, I
yeah.
can't believe, like, there's a part of me that remembers when Tom Hiddleston's contract, his original contract, was coming to an end, and it started seeming like he's about to sort of segue out of this role, and he was starting
Yeah.
to catch on. He had done that Hank Williams movie, and he was kind of, branching off, and it seemed like, okay, he kind of outgrew Loki. But I guess not. They brought him back for
Well, those paychecks from Disney are just
keep
too
those paychecks coming and
sweet.
keep the scripts trippy and inventive like Loki was. And I guess we're going to keep Tom Hiddleston in the loop for a while. Listen, I'm not going to complain. I love his Loki. I love Hiddleston's portrayal of him. And I love the creative conceit of the series. So keep them coming. But yeah, I loved that.
Let's
And
chat
so
real quick
tell me.
though.
Yeah.
So obviously, what did you think of the ending? Because the final episode or
Yes.
two basically teased the next big bad for the
Yes.
future, whatever the future Avengers or Marvel team up is going to be.
Yeah. Now,
Which is
this is a spoiler for anyone who has not watched Loki.
yes.
Here's your tiny spoiler warning. You may want to jump ahead a minute or two because, yes, we're about to discuss the big bad that is revealed at the end of Loki, who's going to be seemingly the big bad moving forward in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in some way, shape, or form. You've been warned. Skip ahead. Okay. So, yeah, Kang the Conqueror, played by that guy from Lovecraft County. He was amazing.
By that guy.
I don't know his name off the top of my head, but I know there's all this buzz around that show, this buzz around him. And when I saw him on the screen, all I really knew of him was that, oh yeah, that's that guy that everyone talks about from that show that everyone watches but me. And he was great though. I was fully hooked in this Kang character. I wanted to know more about him. I found myself I was uneasy. I was made uneasy by him, but I also found him sort of charming and interesting and
Well, he's
compelling in
also
a
not
way.
technically Kang either. So
Oh
I don't
yeah.
think that is the personality he's gonna well,
Yeah.
not necessarily gonna have when we actually meet Kang the Conqueror.
That's
He's the
true.
one who remains.
He's the one
He's
who
the one who won
remains.
out against all the other Kang variants
Yeah.
and set this whole thing up. But it is well, I'll finish your thought because then I have a little question for you.
No,
Yeah.
I just wanted to say what an interesting and unique way to meet the next big bad, or at least, we're getting there. And who'd have thought, there was a time when Marvel's TV series were so detached that people didn't watch them because it's nothing that happens there is going to have any bearing on the big screen. And here's Loki totally establishing a precedent now that something pretty major actually can happen on these shows, and
Right.
Marvel's What If is doing that too, and Winter Soldier and Falcon is setting up Captain America 4. These TV series are coming out guns blazing. But what were you going to ask me?
So yeah, so someone smarter than me or just has more time than me may have kind of pieced this together or figured it out
Yeah.
already. But there is kind of an interesting thing. So Loki sort of implies that a multiverse has already existed before the events of Spider-Man No Way Home and Doctor Strange's spell.
Yeah.
Because the one who remains basically tells us as much, and that the TVA is what's kind of keeping it all in check. And then at the final ending of Loki, where girl Loki kills the one who remains, that totally eventually it shows that is the start of the multiverse.
Yeah.
But we're being led to believe that the multiverse was the result of Doctor Strange's spell in No Way Home. And even though he kind of corrected it at the end of No Way Home, obviously in Multiverse of Madness, something did not go back together all the way. So I'm just confused on was the multiverse always there, or who created it?
Yeah, I'm
There's
pretty
a weird thing there.
There's definitely a weird connection, but
Yeah.
after watching all of Marvel's What If, I'm given the impression that the multiverse has always been around, and the Watcher has been watching through the multiverse for basically eons. But these recent events and stuff that happened in No Way Home, and especially what's going to happen in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and I think a little bit of this WandaVision and Loki stuff, there's some recent events that are going to cause the multiverse to basically sort of explode and have all this, chaos that's on the way.
Emerging
But I
of
think
maybe
it's
then is what we're seeing, right?
yeah.
Actual rather than them being in their own nice little neat little rows.
Yeah,
Now
there's
they're
going to
all
be some
crisscrossing.
convergence.
I guess that's
Yeah,
probably what they're going for, but it
yeah,
just it was a little weird because I was like, so I thought Loki addressed this already, and then No Way
yeah,
Home, I was like, huh? And then like
yeah,
speaking
yeah,
the trailer for Doctor Strange, I'm like, so what are you trying to do here? Like, don't like it's already confusing enough. Let's not make it more confusing. Can we just have like a straight start point? So I don't know,
yeah.
but whatever.
I got you. Well, look, more will be revealed. I mean, look, when this Doctor Strange sequel is doing insane record pre-sale business, and I
Yeah,
have a feeling this is going to be the one that makes me drag you to the real IMAX in the city, so you could see in the multiverse of madness on a screen the size of
yeah,
life.
we'll have to do that.
Right?
I'm in.
It'll be the experience that you need to have for that movie.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, it's funny watching all this stuff did end up making me more excited for the Doctor Strange movie. And it's crazy to think that like a few years back, Doctor Strange was kind of a kooky side character that hardcore Marvel fans knew and loved. But like I don't think anyone really had any real fondness for outside of like the Marvel faithful.
Right.
And through that solo movie, and then especially through Infinity War and Endgame, he's become like a very prominent, very likable, very seminal Marvel hero. And then he looks like he's going to be a linchpin for everything that's coming next.
And a
So who?
solo movie that was a little middling, if
Yeah,
I at least for me, and I
no, I
think I
agree.
don't know, I think overall like money wise too is kind of middling compared to the rest of the pantheon. But yeah, now he is like kind of the guy. He's the guy
He's
for the
become the guy. Yeah. And Sam Raimi is directing the sequel. So I can't wait to see
yes.
what sort of,
I'm very excited.
inventive creativity he brings to that. And yeah, who'd have thunk that I would end up a Doctor Strange mark all of a sudden at
I know, right?
at this point in my life.
Yeah.
But we're gonna switch gears now to a different hero with a red cape.